and today we will be explaining the naked egg experiment.
Our purpose is to show how the outer and inner membrane of an egg protects the inside valuables from becoming contaminated.
First, it is important to talk about the anatomy and the composition of the chicken egg. And so first we have the hard, outer, crunchy shell of the egg.
This is composed of about 95% calcium carbonate. This compound is also found in seashells, corals, and pearls. These proteins can also be found in our hair and fingernails. Beneath all of that is the abdomen and chalaza. These factors contribute to supporting the egg yolk while it is being laid and before it is hatched. Alright, so my hypothesis is that our chicken egg is going to the outer shell of it is going to completely dissolve. I think that the calcium carbonate will completely react with the acetic acid, and we'll be left with the semi-translucent egg with its membrane around it.
And so my hypothesis is actually really similar to his, except I don't think that the acetic acid will dissolve all of the eggshell, because as he said before, the eggshell is made out of only 95% calcium carbonate. So I think basically most of the eggshell will dissolve, except there will still be like little white specks on the eggshell membrane, and the eggshell membrane won't be completely transparent. It will be slightly opaque and translucent. Well, let's go find out.
First, obtain a container and fill it with enough vinegar to completely submerge the chicken egg.
And next, place the egg in the container.
It will take about 2 days for the vinegar to completely react with the calcium carbonate in the eggshell.
The chemical reaction is calcium carbonate from the eggshell and acetic acid react to produce calcium acetate, water, and carbon dioxide.
As you can see, a few times we had to disrupt the egg in order to get rid of the CO2 bubbles that were clinging to the surface. The CO2 bubbles were creating a layer of insulation, inhibiting the acetic acid from reaching the shell of the egg. Alright, now that the reaction's finished, let's take a look at what actually happened.
So the most obvious change that we see in the egg is that basically the hard white outer shell is completely gone. And then we can kind of see that the entire egg is translucent compared to the original egg, which has a white, hard, crunchy outer shell.
Alright, the next change that we see is in size. If you'll notice, compared to a normal egg, this egg is a lot larger. This is because, if you remember, vinegar is only 4% acetic acid. That means the other 96% is water. The water, due to diffusion, will pass through the cell membrane. This is because the cell wants to reach equilibrium with the amount of water content outside the egg in its environment. The water inside the egg is about 74%, so it wants to take in more water to reach as much equilibrium as it can with the 96% water that is in the environment around it.
Another difference we noted was in the Tyndall Effect. So in the original egg, we can obviously see that the light does not pass through the egg. But in the egg dissolved in vinegar, we can see the Tyndall Effect. And so the light does not pass fully through it, so we know it is a colloid. And so the light does not pass fully through it because of the many proteins in the egg yolk suspended inside the egg.
Alright, so as we previously mentioned, the egg has grown in size because it took up water from its surrounding environment of a low concentrate solution. So, if we put it in corn syrup, as you see here, then we can draw the water out of it because corn syrup is a very high concentration. Let's try it.
So first we need to tackle a question. Why is acetic acid not allowed through the cell membrane?
The cell membrane is composed of phospholipids and proteins. The only way to get in or out of the cell membrane is through these protein gates.
So in chapter 24.4, it kind of talks about phospholipids and how the cell membrane is made of these, which creates a barrier against the passage of particles and ions into and out of the cell. And it also states that there are protein molecules through the lipid bilayer.
These proteins form channels through which specific ions and specific molecules that the cell needs to function are let in or out. Because acetic acid is a large complex molecule, it is not able to fit through these protein gates, and it definitely won't work through osmosis because osmosis only applies to water.
As you can see here, the egg that we submerged in the corn syrup is a little smaller than the egg that was just in vinegar. And here we can see that the egg is more filled up because there's more water in it. And here it's a little more loose, kind of like a balloon that's only half filled because there's less water in it. So it's kind of more squishy. So the Chinese used to dissolve these eggs in vinegar. And so basically then they would take this vinegar and they would drink it because it would have calcium dissolved in it. And that's how they would obtain their calcium as the nutrient.
It may cause serious allergic reactions or suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these. New or worsening depression or unusual changes in mood or behavior. Or swelling, trouble breathing, rash.
Some practical uses for this are getting rid of industrial waste. Apparently, calcium carbonate is a byproduct of paper making factories. So vinegar or acetic acid could be used to get rid of these industrial wastes. Another implication for this experiment could be with your drain getting clogged. Oftentimes they can get clogged with eggshells that get put down the disposal, and pouring a little acetic acid down could loosen them up and help unclog your drain. In conclusion, yes, my hypothesis was correct. While I didn't expect the egg to expand as much due to the intake of water, I did correctly predict that the entire shell would be chemically reacted and that there would not be anything left behind.